And this is the biggest tip of them all.
Are you questioning whether you might be embarking in a relationship with a narcissist? Today we're going to talk about 5 red flags that you should really question before moving into a long-term relationship with this kind of person. But before we do that, please hit the subscribe button for more relationship tips on our channel. And you're going to want to make sure to stick around for the end because it could be life-changing for you.
Flag number 1, monopolizing the conversation. These are people that like to always steer the conversation back to them, even in a group environment when you're having conversation with 3 or 4 other people. They like to exaggerate. They like to sometimes play the martyr or the victim to constantly redirect that conversation back to them. That is a huge flag, and it's something to watch out for.
But that's nothing compared to this next red flag. Red flag number 2, an inflated ego. Narcissists tend to exaggerate their accomplishments, and anything that you have done, they have done better, faster, quicker, just more important than anybody else in the room. They like to control that. It's all about them, and they ask nothing for questions. They really don't care about you because they are so self-absorbed in themselves. They do this to bolster their self-image and make themselves look important, and really, it's probably an insecurity thing because there's something that they're lacking that makes them have to pump their own tires up to make themselves look better in front of you. Narcissists use brand names, luxury vehicles, luxury watches, designer stuff to make themselves look so much more important than you. And they like to point that out. You know, this is a Michael Kors or this is a Kate Spade, because for whatever reason they think that that's more important than anything that you could ever have. So to avoid conversations with the narcissist, you might want to steer the conversation away from them. Set boundaries, clear, concise communication, because you clearly don't want to sit and listen to somebody brag about themselves day in and day out. You're going to want to avoid feeding their ego because they just lap this up like a cat laps up milk. It's crazy. By setting boundaries with a person like this and not feeding their ego is going to help you preserve your own well-being.
But that's nothing compared to flag number 3, and that's how a narcissist can treat others, or how poorly they can treat others. Narcissists tend to have a sense of entitlement, natural entitlement, if you will. They like to exploit other people. They like to manipulate other people, manipulate other situations, all geared to come back to them. Narcissists have a lack of empathy. Narcissists also tend to devalue other people's ideas and beliefs. They can use them as long as they'll get on the bandwagon with their idea and belief until they no longer feed their appetite, and then they will just throw them to the trash and go against everything they just agreed with them on. That's called power manipulation. Narcissists are also very concerned with their social status in their network, their superiority in their network, and their validation of their network. All of these points are huge, huge red flags that you need to look out for. The narcissist's treatment of others is characterized as self-centered, very manipulative, and exploitive, without any care or concern of others' feelings.
You think that red flag was bad? Wait for this next one. And don't forget to stick around till the end because that one is going to blow your mind. Red flag number 4 is their need to constantly check in with you. That is their way of controlling you. They want to know where you are all the time. They expect a 5-minute response to any texts, phone calls. Even if you tell them that you're going to be off the grid on a Saturday, maybe you're going shopping and out for lunch and for pedicures with your girlfriends, and you get constant texts, phone calls, interrupting your day. You're in the middle of eating your lunch and your phone rings and they're just checking in to see what you're doing. But you've already told them that you were be gone for 5 hours. That's not okay. That's controlling your day, and it's actually stealing your day from spending time with your friends. What they're trying to do is create a dependency and make you feel like you need them and they need you. But really, what they're doing is controlling you. They're manipulating your day, and it's actually an insecurity thing because they're checking in on you just to make sure that you are where you said you were going to be at a particular time. And if you have trust issues with this person right out of the gate, this is never going to work. So what you really want to do is don't bite the hook. Set clear boundaries, clear communication with them, and don't bite the hook when they text or they phone. Don't answer their phone calls. You have clearly stated that you are going to be off the grid, and it is not okay for them to hijack your day with your friends.
You think that flag was bad. Flag number 5 is, how do you measure up to a narcissist? Measuring up to a narcissist can be challenging and potentially damaging experience. It can debilitate you beyond anything that you've ever comprehended before. Narcissists will set unrealistic expectations for themselves and everyone around them. Let me share with you just a couple of the dynamics that may occur when you're trying to measure up to a narcissist. You yourself might find that you're trying to measure up to the narcissist in your life by their achievements and versus your achievements, your goals versus their goals, and your appearance. It can come down to just your appearance, how you dress compared to how they dress. They will always be one step ahead of you in that game, and they will always make you feel inferior and unimportant. If you're really deep in the trenches with a narcissist in your relationship currently, you might find that you're constantly looking for their admiration or approval. This is done by design. Depending how deep you are in the relationship, if you've been with this narcissist for a while, then they can make you feel so devalued in life. You will find yourself in a position that you're always seeking their admiration and approval. Narcissists will also use this comparison as a tool for manipulation and control, exploiting others' insecurities, always talking about this person or that person and pointing out their bad points in life and their idealisms, etc., etc. And this is all done to make them feel that they're winning the game all the time. All this does is boosts their own ego while it tears you down, so you need them in your life just so you can feel better about yourself. So constantly trying to measure up against a narcissist is exhausting and debilitating. You really, really have to look for this flag, and it will present itself in many forms, but you've really got to pay attention to it. So what happens to you as an individual? You will find that you lose who you are. You'll lose your identity. One of the most debilitating things that a narcissist can do to you is make you feel worthless, undervalued, and underappreciated. So what ends up happening is you lose your value of who you are in the world. And that's not good. That's probably the biggest red flag. So narcissists will prioritize their own needs over yours, which will make you feel unfulfilled and unworthy of anything that you're ever going to try to get out of life. Overall, measuring up to a narcissist can be very detrimental to your health and your well-being. If you see this red flag, you need to put your runners on and go. If you don't set the boundaries out early on in the relationship, you will lose the game in that world. The boundaries are, just set them out. Like, start it from day one. If you see any red flag at all, you just say, no, that's not how this works. And set some parameters around that. Focus on your self-care. You come first, always. Nobody else will do that for you. That's on you. And focus on your personal growth. There is a way to snuff out a narcissist, and we'll get to that later in some later episodes. By implementing some of these strategies that you've seen in this video today, you can further empower yourself to rise above the narcissistic stranglehold that is inflicted upon you in your relationship, and you don't even know what's happening. Right? So pay attention. I'm glad you made it this far in the video, because clearly this is impacting your current relationship as is. And the biggest tip of them all is
you need to live your best life for you. Good relationships are based on love, trust, respect, caring, and everybody should feel worthy of themselves in that relationship.